Thank you so much for inviting me to speak at DeveloperCon. I'm really excited. You mentioned that Nakatsuka-san mentioned that he cried when he canceled previous DeveloperCon Tokyo in February for 10 minutes, and I was also really sad that the event was canceled. So I was really excited that DeveloperCon came back as the DeveloperCon Earth. So I'm really happy to be here. So again, my name is Noriaki Fukuyasu. I work for the Linux Foundation. I'm the VP of Japan Operations. And I guess I only have 25 minutes. So let me go right into the agenda today. So today I'm going to be talking about ITEX community and technologies to make document translation work more fun and productive. So basically, I would like to talk about how we can make community translation more fun work to do and more productive work to do. So that's the main agenda of today. Right. So this is not like a table of contents, but a key topics that I would like to share today. So one is how technology can actually solve the issue with the translation we have at the open source community, particularly the local open source user communities. And the other thing I would like to mention is, there's a typo. What are the tools we can take advantage of, to solve the issue? And finally, I would like to talk about how can we make the translation work more fun and productive. So those are the three things I would like to mention today. So the big headache for local open source community has always been translation. As Taiji-san mentioned in the previous session, that if the content is in English, and then people won't read it, right? So this is sadly true, particularly in Japan. So I would say the impact of language barrier to the non-English speaking countries like Japan is huge, I would think. And without translation, I would say the new technology originated in overseas, like in the United States and Europe, will not be spread in non-English speaking countries such as Japan again. So, it is impossible to make every Japanese people, all Japanese engineer to fluently read English content, but it is possible to localize more document a lot faster by taking advantage of technology. So this is the kind of headache currently we are facing, and one of the hope is the technology and community work that to actually solve the headache we have. So how technology can actually potentially solve the issue of translation? In other words, what is the to tackle that issue? We have to first we have to touch upon what is the nature of the work translation. What is the nature of translation work, and what is the area of the what is the area that technology can actually able to intervene? So I'd like to touch upon that. So today, translation work is mainly human work. I think in the major part of the translation is done by human. But if you take a closer look into the work, we call it translation, is actually split into two pieces. One is translation that is required only a language skill. So I would call it lower value of work. And the other part of translation work is actually, we can call it interpretation. And this interpretation part is actually require like specialty, like a technology specialty, right? So for example, if you would like to translate blockchain documentation into Japanese language, then many of the terminologies in English actually something quite new or a new way of using in Japanese language. So this is where the people who has the specialty, like technical skill and community skill, come in and decide which terminology, which Japanese terminology can best fit to this specific English word. And so for this work, and because of that, for this work, interpretation work requires specialty, and I would consider it as high value added work. So, but and if with technology, so today, those interpretation, translation altogether, and mainly human work, done by people. But with technology, we can actually change the things, right? So a translation part requires only language skill, lower value part. It can be done by technology, like machine translation, AI, as Taiji-san mentioned. And the other part, interpretation part, remains as the human work, and this is the high value added work. And for people who has technical skill and people who has open source understanding, this is actually a good, I would say, the place where they are able to, execute their specialty. So this is a good place to invest their time. So it's the same thing, but let me cut the let me cut the translation work from the perspective of business model. So on the left hand side, and in this slide, I'm trying to compare the business model of translation with the open source business today, right? And I would like to think that will the business model would the business model be changed just like open source has done the changes in the business model today. So open source business today, we can say the business can be divided into I'd say like products can be divided into two parts, right? One part is non-core competence part, and the other is core competence, so your solution part. And today, non-core competence part is largely replaced by open source. So people take advantage of open source for non-core competence, and therefore companies focus their investment to their solution, like their core competence. That's what is happening today in the open source industry. So on the other hand, this model, this similar model can be applied to future translation business. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, translation work can be divided into two parts. One is the translation, which is the non-core value, and the interpretation part is the place where there is a value, right? So non-core competence part can be translated by machine translation engine, right? This is not a high value part. So we do not have to reinvent the wheel. So let a machine translate this part, and we focusing the people who has a specialty in technology area should focus on solution. So that's the kind of the model I think in the future will happen in the translation industry. And when it comes to our industry, open source industry, we need an open and common platform for open source industry, open source community. We can take advantage. And this, if the this translation tool, machine translation engine, where we can translate the no core competence part. If there's a open and a common platform to take care of this part, this should make our translation work a lot easier And also because we can focus on our core competence, solution part. It actually makes sense for people who have a specialty to spend time on. So naturally, for those work, it's more fun than just translating non-core competence part. So we would like to have something that we can take advantage. We can take advantage for free. And so I would like to say, shout out that let's build open and common platform together. So a platform doesn't mean that like a translation tool, but it should include something like a machine translation engine, and also community translation process, and more importantly, people's mindset to do the translation together, not by themselves. So all together, I call it common platform. Right. Okay, I'm right on. Since I only have 25 minutes, so I'm careful. I try to be careful with the time. So in order to build our common platform, what are the things we need, right? I would think there are three things that will be in need. So one is everyone use tool to translate and share the translation memory. This is the probably the most important part. Share the translation memory by using the translation tool. That's one thing. The other thing is train the machine translation engine optimized for open source industry. That's number two. And three, and this is probably I said share the translation memory is very important, but probably even more important part is build a mindset and process that the translation will have to be done by the community. Never do it alone. If people do the translation alone, then many people will reinvent the wheel. Right? And translation of the documentation isn't the core competence of people's business, right? So let's try not to do that by themselves. Do it together and never do it alone. So those are the three things now, that will be quite important to build the common platform. So as I said, translation memory is really important, right? But why? What is the translation memory, and why it matters, right? So I'd like to talk about that. So translation memory. Hereafter, I would like to just say TM. I would like to. I put it in the slides, just the TM, but TM means TM stands for translation memory. So translation memory is basically a database of a word previously already translated. So it can be just a sentence. It can be a word, or it can be a sentence. It can be paragraphs, or even like a sentence like units, like headings, titles, elements. So these these words that has been previously translated will become translation memory if you use a tool. When you translate. And also there's a if you take a look at the image on the right hand side, so that's the actually translation memory. And there's an industry standard of file format called TMX, translation memory exchange. And because we have industry standard of format, we can actually easily share and share and merge everybody's translation memory. So what is why it matters? Why we do the translation memory? Because there are several benefits. One is avoiding from translating the same sentence words, sentence like units over and over. So basically, once you translate, then as long as you use the translation memory, you don't have to translate again. So this is actually a huge benefit. And also, we can use translation memory as it's like guidance of translate one thing to a local language, like specific terminologies. You'd like to translate one specific terminology into specific way, right, into Japanese. But if we do not use a translation memory, maybe a translator A translate this into this way, but a translator B will translate something different. And by using translation memory, by sharing a translation memory with others, with the community, we can avoid that case. And also, we can set the translation rule by the community. You probably want to keep the same style format, style sheet, style guide. So by using translation memories, we can set the kind of rules. So this is why keeping the translation memory and sharing with others is quite important. So what to do with the translation memory? Okay, we got translation memories, but what to do with it? Okay, so this is how you do it. So basically, you get the translation memories from the community, maybe from the GitHub, and translate your document using translation memory. Then, if you translate new contents, then you will have new translation memory, additional translation memory, and you share with the community. And at the community, merge the new translation memory with the existing translation memories. So maybe it's like commit additional translation memory to the mainline translation memory. And then update the community translation memory. And when you do the translation next time, make sure you get the updated translation memory from the community repository and do the translation. So basically, you will be able to get a lot of the productivity by spinning this cycle a lot. So I would like to touch upon the available tool that that we can use actually in order to make it happen. So one of the tools we have been using is Omega T. This is an open source translation tool, and we have been using a lot. And this actually is compatible with the variety of translation memory formats. So as I mentioned, TMX is the industry standard, but I know there are other formats, and Omega T can actually can be compatible with other formats as well. And also, Omega T is able to translate over 30 document formats, such as Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. And actually, PowerPoint is actually really helpful because I do a lot of translation of PowerPoints created by my American coworkers, and Omega T will be able to eat your PowerPoint text and translate. We can work on it. So it's actually really helpful. And not only Microsoft Office documents, but it can be used HTML and open document format and MediaWiki, and also of course the plain text. And one of the things, one other good thing about Omega T is it has the interface with the popular machine translation engines such as Google Translation and DeepL. So basically, when we do the translation, we connect Omega T with translation engines like Google Translation API. Then translation API will translate it, and Omega, we can get Omega T who basically shows the result of the machine translation. So this is one good tool, interesting tool. Maybe you can use it. And one other tool we have found recently, and we haven't really tried it a lot yet, but it seems like quite interesting, is the Textra translation editor. In Japanese, Minna no Jidou Honyaku. So this is actually one of the tools we have found recently, and currently we are studying a lot. So this is basically an online tool. So Omega T, which I explained in the previous page, is basically it's a software you install on your PC. But Textra is an online tool provided by National Institution of Information and Communication Technology. We call it NICT. And this is the Japanese government affiliated agency, a research and development agency. And this is not an open source tool, but anyone can actually use it for free. And this Textra translation editor has the machine translation engine behind it. So we can actually take advantage of their machine translation engine to translate it. And once again, no need to install software on your PC. This is actually one good thing. And also, it has the capability to translate many different file formats, just like Omega TV. And also, one good thing about this Textra is it has got a capability to use WYSIWYG mode. So basically, what you see is what you get. So in the same format, we can do the translation work. And also, it is capable to create capable to create translation memory in multiple different file formats, just like Omega T does. And this is also capable to generate a glossary from the translation memory. So this is actually a really good functionality for community. And my future dream, is basically a translation engine optimized, having the translation engine optimized for open source usage. So to do that, train the machine translation engine optimized for open source. So it actually really matters if you share translation engine. If you eventually would like to have something like this. So if many people share the translation memories with others, if the entire Japanese community start customly, habitually, leaving the sharing the translation memory, then we should be able to get a lot of the translation memories, and that may help optimize the translation engine. And one cool thing about Textra, which I explained in the previous slide, is actually take those translation memory and optimize for that industry's usage. So this is one good thing about one reason why I think Textra is something quite interesting. And also one thing I would like to my future dream is build the ecosystem around that machine translation engine. So having the ecosystem together, that we can use together with the machine translation engine. It doesn't have to be like open source, but a commercial tool as well. For like a CMS that we can automatically translate our web page using the optimized industry optimized translation engine, and also Git repository that we can basically commit automatically from the translation engine, something like that. But after all, in order to make the translation work more fun and productive, people matters most. Basically, we have the tool, we have the translation engine, but the people matters most, and this is the most important thing. And to make people motivate and people work smoothly within the community, we need to do a few things. One is now build a process to share the translation result and memory. So to do that, we have to have a mindset that translation as a fun collaborative work, right? Translation sometimes considered to be less interesting and time-consuming work, but we need to have a mindset to consider that translation work as a fun collaborative work. And also we need a common repository, and not only people share translation outcome, but people don't do the machine translation memory. But from now on, what we need to share is not only the translation outcome, but translation memories. And we need a right work process. And for example, we need to have a maintainer of the translation project. And maintainer will merge the translation memory. Maintain the mainline translation memory, and new translation memory needs to be merged by the maintainer. There's a tool to easily merge the translation memories. So it's not like a big task, but translation maintainer will be a good person to judge what's the right translation. And maybe we have to consider about maybe like some legal time, like a CLA, DCO. So people feel I guess comfortable to contribute the result. And one of the things that we have to do is we have to I would like to touch upon is community translation can become fun work. And people I spoke to in terms of the translation, they said translation is an opportunity to learn technology. And when they do translation and when they learn new things, they feel it's fun to translate. And also collaboration with others. If the translation can be done collaboratively, we get more feedback to our work, and also translator can get good reputation and big appreciation. Then translation work can become a more fun thing. And also, as I mentioned in the very earlier in my presentation, we can focus on high value added work and let the tool take care of the low value part. And this way, we can focus on the part where it makes sense for the talented people can spend time on. So if we do all this, we can probably make translation work more fun and a lot more productive. And my one final word is universal community translators unite and share the translation memory. This is my final thought, my final word that I would like to leave you with. And thank you so much. And back to Nakatsuga-san. Thank you.